so I'm here with Rachel. She's waving, just
Hi.
so you know. So Rachel, tell me a bit about yourself, your background in acting, Shakespeare, anything like that you feel like delving into.
So my background with Shakespeare is more extensive than my background in acting. In some ways, I acted all through high school. I really loved it, and then ended up going to university for English Lit and Classics, and through that I developed kind of a specialization in early modern English literature, which essentially is Shakespeare and people who wrote around that time, but really it's only Shakespeare who we still care about with a lot of good reason. So I did a lot of studying Shakespeare from that perspective, and then sort of accidentally ended up in the play last year here in Lethbridge. Absolutely loved it, and now I'm back for a second round.
There you go. Nice. Well, we've enjoyed having you.
Great to be a part of the game. You guys are awesome.
All right. Now tell me a bit about your character. What are their motivations during the play? And yeah, what's been your process of bringing her to life?
The princess. So I play the Princess of France. And she is such an interesting character because there are a lot of different pieces to her that are pretty prominent in the play. So first of all, she's a diplomat. She's the daughter of the king, and she has a lot of political responsibilities and a lot of power that she has to represent. And that is why she comes to Navarre in the first place, is for some pretty serious diplomatic stuff. But you soon find out that she's also really into having fun. She's a bit of a tease, a lot of a tease, and can kind of cross the boundary into being kind of mean sometimes. So on one hand, you get this pretty powerful political figure, and on the other hand, you get a young woman who's trying to figure out how to bear all this weight on her shoulders while still enjoying her life. One thing that also has really influenced my kind of interpretation of who she is her father is really sick throughout the entire play, and everyone knows it, including her. So you're watching her play all these roles knowing that a really big part of her life is not going to last for a lot longer, and that changes everything about your life if you've ever experienced that. So she can be a really silly character, but also there's a lot going on under the surface. And how to bring that to life, I am still definitely figuring that out. Any piece of advice you have would be most helpful. A lot of it right at this stage when we're talking is actually just about learning the lines, because they're so rich, and Shakespeare is a really hard thing to understand, especially if you're not taught it by someone who really has been taught well themselves. But the language gives you so much. Like, why are these people saying the things that they're saying? So at this point, a lot of building the character is like getting those lines just echoing inside of my head rather than just on paper. And Shakespeare is giving me a lot of it. So I'm trying to let the words be as much as they can, and they'll kind of follow along in their wake.
Yeah, nice. All right. If your character was to pick a genre of music that would be their favorite, what do you think it would be?
Well, I've been following a lot of Eurovision recently.
Nice.
I think that, she's the Princess of France, which is a pretty prominent European country, and I think that she is really into having fun. And I don't know if you've seen a lot of Eurovision songs, but they are absolutely ridiculous and over the top. So I've been listening. The song that really makes me think of the princess right now is called No Rules, and it's a Finnish entry from a couple years ago. And the music video is amazing. It's all about this Finnish dude running around trying to put on a pair of short shorts. Everyone should look it up, and I feel like that is what the princess is watching at night during this play.
Nice. I like that. You guys have been doing a lot of research for your guys' roles. I know that Dawn's been giving you guys some homework to do. What has that looked like for you, doing research and figuring things out?
It's been really liberating in a lot of ways, because it can be hard to figure out yourself as a person, let alone someone who doesn't exist as a person alone. We all figure out who we are in community, and I think that the same is true with characters who you're figuring out. So the homework that she's been giving us has been really cool, because it's homework for us, but also in the context of the entire cast. So I'm sure that other people have told you about it, but one was we needed to pick just a few words while we were in rehearsal that our characters say that we thought really represented our character, and then had about half an hour to just interact with each other using just those words, which sounds really simple, but gave us so much information, and so much of it was, how do we relate to other people with those words, with what we know when we're moving in our bodies through space? So that was a really cool, very intuitive way to sort of try to get a grip of who we were in the context of who everyone else is in the play. And another thing she had us do was write letters to every other member of the cast, and that also just like tightens and thickens this web of who everyone is, and hopefully will mean that we all eventually look like we're in the same play, which is a lot harder than it sounds. And it's been awesome to have someone so experienced kind of lead us through these exercises.
Nice. All right, another fun question for your character. What Hogwarts house do you think your character would be and why?
I'm torn between Ravenclaw and Slytherin. Actually, but like a good Slytherin, because I do believe that there are such things. Hashtag not all Slytherins. But I think I will ultimately say Ravenclaw. The princess is very smart. I think in a way part of her problem can be she can be maybe a little bit too smart for her own good at times. And so much of how she interacts with other people is through cleverness. Rosaline, who's kind of her, in some ways, her closest lady in waiting, both of them are really smart. And I think that it can be hard to be a smart anyone in the world, and especially a smart woman in the world. And part of the princess's journey is trying to figure out how to be someone who can read everyone else so well. How can you maybe soften the edges of what you see, or give people another chance, or have the patience to let them change and become more who they are throughout the play? It's one of the things that's just kind of trying to get a grip on.
Nice.
Sorry, I don't think that was a complete sentence.
No.
Okay.
We got it. We get it.
I'm just talking. I'm just saying words in here.
The words make sense.
Change any of those.
All right. Since this is one of Shakespeare's lesser-known plays, what is an icon in popular media or popular culture that either reflects your character really well or is a perfect foil for your character?
These questions are good.
Well, thank you.
Consider journalism. What I'm kind of thinking of is someone like Dua Lipa, in the sense that she's so confident, but she has definitely had some stumbles along the way. But also she's incredibly smart, and I think you don't always see someone who's very glamorous, which I think the princess is supposed to be. Come and check out the show, then you'll see if it's true. You know, her podcast, her interviews with figures like Stephen Colbert, where you kind of go, oh man, like you look like there's not a lot of substance to you, but actually
there is.
You're really smart in what you're doing. So I'm sure that I will like think of the perfect response 2 days from now and kick myself. But for now, in this moment
I'll get this
time,
text message in the middle, but I want to change the answer.
For now, it's Dua Lipa.
Okay.
Hey guys, just a note from me, the interviewer. Rachel did end up emailing me with another answer to this question, so I thought I'd hop in here and just give it to you guys. So she emailed me and said that she found the perfect pop culture character for her princess and that it was haunting her ever since we did the interview. So this is her actual answer that she would like to put forth. She is Elizabeth Bennet, super smart, great sense of humor, and a disposition to be happy, but with a tendency to perhaps jump to conclusions too quickly or dismiss people without giving them their full due. There you go. Back to the interview.
We'll go with that. All right. What are you hoping audiences are going to take away from the show, or what message do you think is relevant to our audience?
One thing I really hope with this production, so I'm also the dramaturge for this play,
Yes.
So I've worked with Dawn quite comprehensively behind the scenes earlier in the year when we were working to get ready for this. And one thing that I love about her that I really hope audiences will get is she's able to take big chunks of original Shakespeare and help actors turn it into something that isn't only understandable but is recognizable as being just as human than as it is now. I think you think verse, you think iambic pentameter. We can lose Shakespeare behind a lot of layers of, oh, this is old-timey, this is history, this is a different way that is spoken, these are words that aren't familiar. And what I really hope that this production can communicate is those layers can be barriers to Shakespeare, but they can also be gates to invite you into more linguistic and emotional richness. Then it's hard to find that kind of richness anywhere, then in Shakespeare's time and now, I believe. And if we can get the audience to do that, if we can take those barriers and turn it into even better experiences, that's what I really hope they'll get out of. Good luck with that answer. That was very abstract. I'm so sorry.
Hey, it's all good. It's all good.
All about the conceptual.
Yep. All right, now going from the conceptual to the minimalist, describe the play for me in 3 to 5 words. Ooh.
Women great, men in process.
That is excellent. A lovely interpretation of the play, men in process. Need like one of those loading bars underneath. Yeah. The men are warming up.
They're loading. They're buffering, it'll be worth it.
Yeah. Just gotta wait for the whole play to finish, then we'll be there.
And then a year after that, and then we're good.
Nice. Alright, seeing as you're such a big Shakespeare nerd, what is your favorite Shakespeare play and why?
Oh, can I give 2 answers?
I suppose.
Thank you. You can only pick one. One of them. Well, I wrote my thesis on The Winter's Tale, so part of it has to be that it's not as well known. It's starting to get more well known. It's amazing. It's juicy. It's everything. The best play I've ever seen in my life was a production of Hamlet, and so that has to be Shakespeare is what you see, not just on a page. And so Shakespeare as I've seen it lived. It's so well known for a reason. It's in our DNA, I think, as human beings.
Yeah, that's fair. That's fair. Alright, last question. I need you to pick a category, and the categories are books, animals, or superheroes.
Books.
Books? Alright. What is the worst book you have ever read? And you have to beat Carson, because Carson's was amazing. No pressure.
I feel like beating Carson is like an impossible task. The worst book I've ever read.
Book. So that all of us at home won't make the same mistake.
The same mistake. It's funny because as soon as I do that, I start thinking through my bookshelves. In my bookshelf. The worst book I ever read. When I was in high school, there was a girl who really wanted to be my friend, and I wanted friends. And she was like, you need to read these books, this series of books. I love them so much, you have to read them. And they were the Twilight books. And Megan, I read all 4.
That's some desperation there.
And all I can say about that is that, you know how you eat food while you read?
Uh-huh.
I couldn't read anything delicious and home-cooked and nutritious. All I could eat with the Twilight books was Chinese food. And bad one. Not like actual authentic Chinese,
Yep. The cheap Chinese.
yeah, like $3.99 ginger beef. That was the worst book I've ever read.
That is fantastic.
It can't be Carson's, but
Yeah.
that is my
No,
answer.
I will take it. It is brilliant. Alright, well thank you for your time, Rachel. And good luck, break a leg. And yeah.
Thanks, Megan. This was really fun.